Hi, friends. This is Caitlin. I'm so happy to be here with you with Pink and Main. I saw tons of people already in the comments chit-chatting away. So I saw Helene and Virginia were here super early. Lisa's here. Let's see. Miss Barbara's here. Melissa's here. Pam, Peggy, Justine's hanging out with us tonight. Karen's here. Wonderful. I'm so glad to see you guys. We are going to have some fun with this stamp set. We played with that Santa like ice cream cone, but tonight I want to play with all of the little cupcake guys, all these ones from the Chili Treats stamp set. And then I never got to use the floral banner dies, so I decided that tonight would be a good night for that too. So I have some ideas. I've been kind of going back and forth over how much masking I want to do or not. I think we're going to skip the masking, but we're still going to kind of make a cute little scene card. It just won't be a one layer scene, but I think that's okay. Let's see. Maria's here checking in too. Miss Margaret's here. Yeah, they're seriously the cutest, Justine. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over so we can see what we're working with. You know what? Let me just grab a paper towel. My glasses are so cloudy. I was trying to clean them on my dress and it was not working. All right, so my idea is to make like a little countertop that all of these, there we go, super sweet, literally, right? These little cupcakes, at least 5 of them. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's 6. Oh, he's not a cupcake, he's an ice cream. That's what I thought. There's these 5 cupcakes that we're going to use, and I want to kind of be stacked like some behind, not like stacked on top. Like we're not making a pyramid with them. They're kind of going to be like in 2 rows. That's my thought. And then the banner, I don't know what sentiment we're going to put on there yet. I didn't get that far in my head. I just know I want to use the banner to make like a little cute sentiment place on there. In theory, this could definitely be a scene card, but it's going to take a minute, I feel like, for me to cut all of those masks. So I think we're just going to go for it with die cutting. The first thing we need to do is stamp out all of our cupcakes. Yeah, I love the waffle bowl Santa too. I mean, he's so cute. All of them are cute. One of my other favorites is this little snowman ice cream cone. He's really sweet. Hey, Michelle. I also want to shout out and thank everybody who hopped into the Hanging with Hero Arts live last night to support Michelle, or if you watch the replay or you planning on watching the replay. I learned a ton of stuff about Pink and Main and Michelle and like kind of the history of the company. So if that's stuff that you'd be interested in, I highly recommend giving it a watch. It was pretty fun just to get to hear her and Christopher Allen from Burtis Monroe. It was just really cool. And I didn't realize how good of friends they were. So that's pretty fun too. I was in the comments over there, like, come hang out with us live, come hang out with us live. Yeah, Melissa, I saw you. I'm sure I was commenting enough that hopefully people saw and weren't actually just annoyed with me. But I figured if they're watching a Hero Arts live, then they like lives. So it seems like it wouldn't be a super big jump to for them to make it over to watch one of our lives. And then we'll get them hooked. Oh my gosh. By default, I grabbed the wrong ink. Sorry, guys. For transparency, I grabbed Honeybee Stamps Intense Black ink. And because I started with it, now I'm just going to go ahead and finish. And it is what it is. You guys know that for Copics and Olos, our asphalt ink works perfectly as well. All right. It's so funny. My best friend makes the best cupcakes, but she doesn't really decorate cupcakes. And so I keep thinking like, man, I should like show her these, but I feel like she'd just be mad because she doesn't decorate hers like this. They're normal, but they're so good. She puts cookie dough in the middle. We have a cookie and a cupcake together. There's all of our little critters, our little cupcakes. And this is going to be our little background. So let's go ahead and get in here. We're just going to dive in. We're doing Copics because I didn't want to have to be super careful about placement. And these are a little on the smaller side, right? Like smaller than a finger, right? Versus like, we know our bigger stamped images that are a little more simple or a little larger are a lot easier to color with the Olos. For now, I guess we'll just start here and work our way across. So our bear can be chocolatey. Sounds like a good idea for a little, or I guess he should be a polar bear, right? Hmm. Yeah. All right, fine. He doesn't have to be. He can be whatever we want, but I think he'll be cute as a polar bear. All right, so I'm gonna go cool grays. Oh yeah, Helene, I save every scrap. This piece right here will also be cut out, and I'll stamp another image on that at some point. I save all my little Copic Express It scraps. That stuff is not cheap, and I'm not wasting any of that. So he has this little indent where it's pretty clear that, you know, the icing scoops in there. So I'm gonna not take that the whole way across. We're gonna kind of start to emphasize that shape. And I'm also gonna put a little bit of this under this little hat. Then we can jump up. Let's see what C1 looks like, because we still want this to look like white frosting. We're not going for gray. We're just kind of pulling that out. Like that. That's pretty cute. There we go. And we can do a little C0 or colorless blender. This could easily be swapped for neutral gray. You could do warm gray too. I like warm gray more for like literally warmer, alive things that are gray versus like frosting or metallic or, you know, any kind of actual inanimate object. I prefer the cool tones. I forgot to do over his little muzzle. Just do the 3 and the 0 for this one. It's so little. I'm not going to give him blush because he is icing. Oh, I missed all kinds of stuff. Gotta do his little ears too. So I'm not going to blush him, but I will give him pink inner ears. All right, let's grab my 20. Good. And I'm going to do some green, some red, and I think also some blue because I like the idea of like blue on the snowflakes. So I think another easy place to add blue would be on the polar bear. And I want kind of a frosty blue. So maybe like the B30s. That's nice. We'll start with some B34. And add some shading on the outer part of his little wrapper and then kind of under his scarf. Switch up to 32. Start to pull that color out. And then maybe some B000. Just to kind of finish that off. Let me do his hat while I think of what his little accent color should be. Okay. You guys save all the scraps too. That's so good. You gotta be careful, right? Whoa, chocolate cheesecake in the middle of cupcakes. That sounds crazy. Oh, thank you, Helene. Helene's sleep study nurse said that I do, in fact, have a soothing voice. So I should put that on my resume, right? I should add that to like my crafty resume. All right, maybe instead of going super monochromatic, maybe we go like these are like real cake baker. That's almost a cake shop. Real like bakery cupcakes where there would be a wider range available. So let's go purple. I'm going to go BV purple, not regular V purple. As the accents, that's not dark enough. So there'll be some wintry little cupcakes in our display, and there will be on our shop counter, and there will be some Christmas ones. Go BV000. So I did 13, 11, 000. He's cute. I feel like he looks. Maybe sometimes it's my screen. Yeah, he got a little lumpy head, but that's okay. All right, let's use these same colors for our penguin. let's do some stripes. So I'm going to leave that little bit of a reflective highlight on the edge there. And then I'm going to add most of the shading to the edges and the bottom. And this will be cute because he's going to have stripes on his hat. Yeah, second career. Doing what? What kind of job can you do with a soothing voice for sleep study? They have people that like go and like read. I definitely don't think I could be like an audiobook like artist, narrator. I listen to too many. I would just be like feeling like I'm not doing enough because some of those people are just so insanely talented. For stripes. All these are the same color over and over. It's so funny, when I first started doing YouTube videos, I would write out everything I wanted to say, and I would get so upset with myself if I made a mistake. And then I would listen back and it sounded so like robotic. And I just hated hearing the sound of my voice. And now I'm just like over it. It doesn't faze me anymore. And if I can help it, I don't. When I'm doing voiceovers for my own channel, I don't stop. Like if I make a mistake, I just explain it in the moment and keep going because there's just not enough time, man. Voiceovers used to take me like an hour to 2 hours just to do a voiceover for like a 10-minute video. I'd rather spend that time crafting. All right, so same cool grays that we used for our little polar bear for the puffs on that hat, and we're going to bring them back in again to do his little face. So let's do that now before we add in our black. So I'm going to add shadow in at the bottom. Sides. Sweet little face and over his little nose. Oh, Melissa, I'm so excited for you. Design teamwork is so fun. I will also throw it out there that Pink and Maine posted their design team call today. So if you are interested in joining the Pink and Maine design team in January, the next term starts, go check out their Instagram. I believe I saw Libby had posted it because they're looking for new design team members. She has the application linked there. All right, so this looks really gray compared to the white around it, but you'll see once we add the black, it'll look white again. It's crazy. And Connie, I color with my Copics on Copic Express It paper. Let me show you, it looks like this. It is my favorite. I never have issues with it bleeding for Copics. So it's the Express It blending card. I get mine on Amazon. It's not cheap, but I use every little bit, and for me, it's worth the investment of not having to worry about my paper bleeding. It like doesn't soak through. It's good. All right, so we're going to start our black with an E under that hat. And at the bottom of our little penguin, we'll jump up to N6. Start to drag that color down. I hope that you love the design team. It does make a big difference if you get along and can be like supportive of each other. I have been on my fair share of design teams, in my opinion. And all of them taught me something, but some of them I have fonder memories than others. And some I'm still on and some I'm not. So there you go. There's our little penguin. Oh my gosh. And you know what they need? We can go do this again at the end, but they need their little spots. Their little eye highlights. That's going to make them pop. Right? Like, come on. That's cute. That's so cute. Yeah, you're going to do great. Melissa, I think I pay like 25, 26, 23, somewhere in there, somewhere in the mid 20s. Oh, thanks, Helene. Yeah, the dub was too much anyway. But yeah, I very much like to share. You guys know, even here too, no one's perfect. We all make mistakes. Things always go awry. So acting like they don't doesn't help anybody. And I love that about this community, that more and more people seem to be very willing to be honest about that kind of stuff. Let's see, I don't want to do a normal skin tone because he's not made of skin, he's made of frosting. So let's go 53 for Santa. And I'm going to shade basically the outside of his face, right? We need under his hat, but we don't have a lot of room. Mostly with Santa's, you never get a ton of room. And while we have these colors out, I'm going to shift this and we're going to do Mrs. Claus's face as well. They're so cute. And it's funny, it's like just noticing like her and the Christmas tree are the only ones that you can see the cake part. That's interesting. I think yeah, we need 51. So we're going to do 53, 51, and then we'll keep 50 as our highlight. So they're a little more golden-y than I would do for a normal skin tone, but I think they're nice for Cupcake Claus family. Trying to make sure I have it in a place where you can see them. My little face doesn't cover. Mrs. Claus needs some blue in her glasses. That'll help them look like glass. That was a little B00, and we'll bring back our B000 from our coloring combination earlier. And a shade in her nose. So they're gonna get blush. So 120. Santa, I always love to kind of blush over his mustache or beard, however it's drawn, and then a little on his nose, kind of just following those lines across. And then Mrs. Claus, you kind of have some right on either side of her, or on the sides of her little glasses. And you don't have to worry about getting a smooth blend right away with those, because we can always come back in with our lightest shade and knock those edges back down. Go. Cute, cute. Um, oh, what's a chippy? I don't know what that is. Hey, Linda. Oh, good. And I see Diane's here. Kathy's here checking in with us. Okay, Lisa said hers was 22. Yes, mine was like 23. Katrine is here checking in. I'm making sure I didn't miss anybody. Donna's here. You guys just sneak in. Annette. All right. Let's take care of the rest of Santa first, so don't get overwhelmed. I was trying to think about both of them at the same time, and that's too much. So red is notorious for bleeding, and we don't want to have to deal with that. So I am going to, yeah, we'll put it the same because they're not going to go up against each other. We're going to bring in those same cool grays we've been using, and we're going to do all of our gray and white work first, and then our reds, because if we catch red with our gray or light marker, it's going to spread it. So they don't bleed when left on their own, but they will bleed if you're not careful with your other markers. So I will always do red last if I can, So I'm adding just kind of like little loose C shapes to all these little puffs in his beard. And then the mustache, each side got 3 kind of little flicks. Then we can also add some of that texture coming out from the top part of the beard too. But again, this isn't hair, right? It's frosting. So I'm not going to do as much texture as I would if it was a person. Oh, thinner chipboard. Interesting. Well, I can't wait to see what you make. Okay, just kind of pulling that color out. Then we'll go in with our C0. Make these almost into like little balls, little circles. Just like that. And then I guess let's do black. Let's bring out the same dark grays we used for our penguin for his belt. Sometimes I do brown belts and boots for Santa, and sometimes I do black. Just kind of depends. If we had done a brown bear instead of a polar bear, I would have done brown for sure, just to make sure we had it somewhere else in our little scene. We're just gonna focus on, you know what? There's not a lot in there. And we need like a gold. Grab some Y R's. shade around the inside, and then outside. And then we just need a red for him. And I'm gonna go what am I looking for? 46. I'm gonna go 39. R39. I'm gonna shade the inner part where his hat is kind of folded over onto itself. Under his beard. And then down those strips. I'll do under his belt too. And I'm going to bring in 46. This is like one of my go-to Christmas reds. I prefer the 40s, 46 over the 29 for most of Christmassy things. It's just like a little more of a cherry red, I guess. Which is like a super bright red. That is too pink. I forget what I do, how I blend it out after that. Maybe 35? Yeah, maybe R35. It's been a minute. You guys know I don't make Christmas cards the rest of the year. Certainly not before October. It's bad enough that I have to do it in October. All right, there he is, sweet little Santa. And I'm just using a point or a 8. That's what it is, a number 8 gel pen. You can just add some little. This little belt. Okay, we'll go out of order. Let's do Mrs. Claus. And I'm going to bring in one shade darker in my cool gray so that her hair looks more silver. I don't need her to be completely white. And she has these real cool, like cinnamon bun shaped little hair rolls on her head. So we're going to emphasize that swirl and then the bottom of each of these because that's where that shadow would be. And again, if this was a person, we'd be adding in texture here through the middle and like flicking. But frosting doesn't do that. So we're going to save ourselves the energy. We're not going to sweat it. Does anybody have cool plans for the pre-Halloween weekend? We leave for my dad's tomorrow. My mom got here tonight. She's going up there with me and the girls for Halloween part 2. We're doing some trick-or-treating up there on Saturday while we're there with some friends. Right, and you can see how that adding in that C5 really takes it from being white to gray. That's why I have to be so mindful about what colors we're picking when we're trying to go for white. It's just a little bit darker and you're solidly in gray/silver. What? Let's bring these guys back because I want her wrapper to be red. My big's can be red. I'm just not sure what color to do the inner part. I guess white. Oh, it should be green. What green are we going to use for our tree? I kind of want like a happy bright green. I don't, as you guys know, I love an outdoor scene, like an outdoor anything, like florals too. I just feel like I don't use a lot of my greens. I do not feel like a green expert. That is for sure. Let's start. Maybe I just don't have enough greens. Maybe that's it. Must buy more markers. Obviously, that would be the solution. All right, let's go G19, I suppose. We'll just make believe this is a world where somebody decided to dye the inside of this cupcake bright green. G19 and 17 look not they are not made from the same. G7. We'll just fill it in and save ourselves a little headache. It's going to be my problem in a minute when I have to figure out this pine tree, Christmas tree. She's going to have the same red stripes that Santa had. And I'm going to try to keep the red out of those buttons. Let them be one of those YR goldeny marker colors. And let's just grab the 20. We'll leave that out for our, we'll just start with it for our star. So I'm going to go even one lighter. And we're going to bring in 21. Star on the top. So we're like kind of sprinkling in some of that color. Okay, so we have 7, maybe 5. All right, for this tree, this is going to be a little bright holly. Yeah, I don't know, Donna. We're just winging it now. I'm just winging it. So this is like swirled, right? It looks like it got piped, like one of those fancy piping tips. So I'm going to start at the bottom. I find it's easier to start at the bottom and work my way up when I'm trying to look for these shadows. So we know this is cake and this is icing, right? Frosting. So I'm going to add a layer thin, though, a stripe of my shadow to the bottom, because that would be curving under into that cake. Okay. Then this is like just a texture stripe. We can add a little if we want, but I'm not going to go crazy because right here, this where this curves in is indicating that that's a second layer. So the only time I shade the bottom, and this is just my preference, the only time I shade the bottom of one of those like ridges or stripes of icing is the bottom one where it touches the cake, because I'd rather put my work into the shadow being under and then skip this little lip part. And here I'll emphasize where the artist drawn lines are for that little texture stripe. And then again, the same thing, go all the way across under the lip of that. Bring a little color out there. Now we're at another one. And just follow that all the way up. You can also come in and add some darker. In theory, it wouldn't be super dark on the edges because the light would be shining there where it's kind of not getting covered. But I just think it looks nice. You can do whatever you want. There we go. So that's how it kind of swirls and spirals up. And then we will just build from there like normal once we have our kind of groundwork laid. Being really careful and mindful not to overwhelm it, and also not to, I don't want to cut through that little face. So this one might be shaded a little different than the rest, where like these all attach. And then these are just going to get filled in. You know, for his little face, we could probably even sneak in one shade lighter. A couple of these have room for just like that littlest sliver of highlight. Let's grab the, what do I have, 3? What do you look like? I don't know if you're the vibe, but we're gonna try. I don't know, but it's cute. It's cute enough for me. All right, let's bring in, you know, I guess let's go 50s like Santa and Mrs. Claus, but we'll go one darker. So we're in the same family without it looking like he's got like skin suit under there. I don't know. So 55 and a 53. And that'll look like just a vanilla little cupcake there. 55 on those edges. Right. And then, hey, Libby. Yes, Libby, the design team call was mentioned. And the link, yep, Libby said the link is listed in the Facebook and Instagram page. So um, definitely a fun one. You guys know I've been with Pink and Maine. I can never remember. It's either November's either 3 or 4 years. I think it's 3. I think the next month will be 3 years that I've been with Pink and Maine. And I started as a guest designer for a YouTube hop, because not a lot of people on the design team at the time had YouTube channels, and so they needed some help kind of fleshing out the filling out the Let's see. Same reds as Santa and Mrs. Claus. Adding all my shading to the outer edges and kind of around that little bow. And I think I want to bring in the YRs again. For this guy, so cute. Let's do the darkest ones on the inner and outer edges. It's not a ton of space, but it's pretty cute. All right, and then Tree and Mrs. Claus need their little white shines. Very, very cute. I'm not allowed to go anywhere either. That's more than fine with me. I am very happy with my pink and main fan. All right. Doing these lives has been so fun. Okay, let's get these cut out before we start working on our background kind of scene we're going to build, because I want to make sure that if we give ourselves enough counter space for what I want to do. And you know what else I'm thinking? I was thinking that it's going to not be my favorite thing in the world to try to like draw or color in the background, like the wall basically behind. Maybe we'll do some pattern paper back there too. That's a good little trick to have up your sleeve if you want to add like a fun wallpaper effect without having to draw wallpaper. You can draw wallpaper too. We can do that another day, but we're already 50 minutes in. Live. Imagine if I had thought I was going to be able to mask this. Oh yeah, Libby said they're not going to let me. Don't worry. I'm not going anywhere. Michelle is an amazing person to work for. Libby's a great person to work with. Yoli was amazing to work with too. Design team leaders. All the other design team people. Seriously, I've gotten along with everyone so far at Pink and Mean. And you guys know Volley from the store that I went to create with at Simon Says Stamp was so, I love her so much. Michelle's just good at attracting good people to her, I think. All right, let's get this taped, and then I will trim away my excess paper we talked about before. I'm not wasting any of this today. All right, let's get this through the die cut machine. Let's see. Bear, penguin, Santa, they all die cut perfectly. Okay. So my vision, no, I covered anyway, was to kind of have them like kind of out on display. Like that kind of idea. Right? And make like a little tabletop line and then have some wall or whatever behind them. And then our banner and that floral banner die set. Just the banner. Kind of like that with our sentiment. That was my thought. What kind of paper would be cute? A little wallpaper. I know I have some Christmas paper in here. You know what's really crazy? I don't have all the Pink and Mate papers. That's what's crazy. I'm overflowing in Pink and Mate paper in this little container I have. But I don't even have them all. Every once in a while, I go check the website to try to see. Like every time I put in an order, I'm like, what other one or two random things can I add to this? I think the plaids is going to be too busy. Oh, thanks, Diane. Cool little, that could be cute and a good mix of our blue with our green and red. I know that's a little busy too, but if we kept the tabletop really simple and the banner really simple, that's got potential. I've never really known, like, had a clear idea of how I would use that paper. Now I kind of want to take it as like a personal challenge. The other thing I think would be interesting would be from the homespun, one of the tans, if I have any left. Like that. That's cute too. All right. We're going to put it to vote. You guys tell me, you want the tan or the holly? What is our wallpaper going to be in the background of our card? So we're going to have wooden marker drawn tabletop. And then behind that, are we going tan or holly? We got one for each, 2 hollies. Oh, we're still pretty tied. Come on, guys. You know, I don't like to be the tiebreaker. I have to go and actually count these, aren't I? Let me grab a sticky note. Oh, let's vote for real. If we're gonna, you guys are gonna all leave your comments. I suppose if it's not a landslide, we should truly vote. Get us in the mood for the excitement that I'm sure is coming our way soon. All right, we have holly and we have tea. So, Peggy and Colleen, Lisa, Barbara, Colleen. Libby, even Libby got in on it. She said holly, tan, holly, 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 holly. Oh, all right. Holly won 9-5. So holly it is for today. And let's draw out our tabletop first. We're going to need a T-square. And I want a good rule of thumb in general when you're working with like people in a scene is for their horizon line to fall around their eye line. So these aren't people, but I'm going to do the same thing. I think it's going to turn out pretty cute. right, we're going to do the line for the table just above. Generally, right, we might shift it a little, but just above where our little penguin and bear's eyes are. So I'm going to mark that on either side with a very light marker. Slide those guys out of the way. And then connect that across. You don't have to use a ruler. You can use a piece of paper. You can freehand it if you're super brave. I'm not. How crazy do we want to get? Let's add some planks. That had marker on it. That had marker on it. You can see it on the edge there. That just fits right up. All right, I'm not going to chop it like I would if this was flooring. I want it to look a little more like, well, I guess butcher block has that too. So, you know what? We'll just go for it. If we're already here, we're going over today. It is what it is. I know you guys will forgive me. Try to keep in mind that we'll just do two, that our cupcakes are going to cover most of this. I'm probably really overthinking this anyway. All right, let's go 30s. No, let's go 20s. So I am just going to use these straight lines. They look light now, but we're going to go over it. Donna, I really don't know. I don't know why the eye line thing, eye line, horizon line works. I just have heard that from a few people, and I personally agree. I really like the way it looks, so I've just been going with it. But as a like from an artist art theory thing, I'm not sure. I can certainly check on it and report back. All right, so now we have those kind of outlined. We're going to make our bacon. You guys have seen me make bacon before. So I'm going to start to pull in some kind of swoopy lines through these little wooden planks we made, and then kind of flick color out into them as well. I like to give them a little extra like wiggle here and there. Let's see, it's also fun to kind of make like a little eye in your little wooden plank, a little bacon. Just kind of goofy little squiggle lines. Some can be thicker, some can be thinner. You don't want any of them to look alike. Let me just shade down this whole side. Catch on the edge there. Let's get a little carry here. If we were doing like a very deep scene, we would also change the width of these so they were smaller towards the back and bigger towards the front. Because that would help to kind of push that dimension further into our card. But these are on a pretty shallow sales counter in my mind, so they don't need that. They'll be fine. So that was 29. We'll jump up to 27. Oh yeah, Virginia, 100%. The big T rulers are, I mean, I have one here too. They live side by side on my shelf. I just tuck them into the back, but I never reach for this one. It's too in the way. So I love my little Simon mini ruler. This little plank is going to be pretty dark because he doesn't have a lot of room to add that shading. But these guys, we're going to pull out that edge shading, and then we're going to put more pressure on our marker and really thicken up those bacon squiggles. I know it's silly, but something like this, in my opinion, can be very daunting. And I think if you think of it in silly terms, it makes it less intimidating. So if you're going to try this and you start to panic, just think of me calling them bacon squiggles, and then you won't be nervous anymore. Because who cares how they turn out? They're just bacon squiggles. It's not fancy wood grain. It's not high stakes. It's bacon squiggles on a card. And it'll be okay. 27, 25. We're just going to fill this in. Oh, she's dry. 25 is going to need a refill ASAP. There we go. There's our little wooden tabletop. Let's grab our holly paper. And let's see what we're working with here. Right? Bacon squiggles. I'm telling you, it's way easier. Look at that. Exactly 2 inches. I guess that makes sense, right? Oh no, I did 3. That's funny. Oh no, that was 2 inches. That's 2 inches. So I need, what, 2 1/4? Yeah. I can do bacon squiggles all day, but God forbid you ask me to do some math. No, absolutely not. Not even close. What? You guys are probably like, what is she doing? Do I have? Okay. Paper moved. Can we salvage it? Oh, that's a little rough. Yeah, we'll just trim it down. It'll be fine. All right, so that's going to be our cutting paper. And because we're going to pop up our cupcakes, you're not really going to see that there's a lip there at all. Oh man, I cleared this out the other night. It's because my lid is cracked. I dropped it. Just on a roll, guys. Just on a roll. Okay. Click on what it is. Use the chomper. Get those bits back. It's just still somehow short. Fine. Now we have all of our little babies. Let's get our foam. You know what I will say is that one plank line really fell out. I'm going to put their foam on, but I'm not going to peel off the backing yet. Mostly because I'm not positive I want all of them topped. I think our little winter guys that are going to go in the back row could be flat. Oh, well, never mind. All right, they're all getting topped. All right, I had Christmas tree, Santa, Mrs. Claus. I liked how that looked. So I'm going to hold them in place, but I'm going to hold them from the bottom so they kind of edge up a little bit. And then we'll put our little bear right in between there. And then we'll repeat that with our penguin. And then we can kind of nudge these guys around where they make sense. I want them to overlap, but I'm not like crazy. There we go. Our little cupcakes on our little table scene. Now we need just a simple banner. I don't have my sentiment picked up. That's what's going to be the problem. Maybe no, we'll just, what do I need? Another. That's a great temper, but it might be a little short. Good thing I have so many. Where's my Christmas mugs? That's what I want. God is saying the Christmas mugs have what I need. Maybe just "You Warm My Heart." That could be cute. And I think that'll fit really well. I knew there would be a good one in there. So we're going to go with "You Warm My Heart." We're going to borrow from the Mugs and Kisses. We are going to stamp or cut this first on a scrap of scrappier scrap. Sure do. Our ice rink paper. And I do like to die cut if I'm gonna manipulate my stamp into a shape for like a banner situation with curving it. I like to die cut first. I knew it. I should have rubbed that in paper. It'll be fine. And then what I am going to do is take my stamp. Let's make sure she does fit. She sure does. Let's see. We want it to be this way. We can do this because I need it upside down. So I'm flipping my banner over. This is not a banner. This block has seen better days. Don't judge me on the cleanliness of this. All right, so I'm going to, using the back of my die cut as a guide, I'm going to curve my sentiment onto why is there stuff on it? Oh my gosh. How many dirty acrylic blocks does it take, Caitlin, to finish a sentiment? That's the question of the day. Okay, so flip you over, you over, perfect fit. We are not going to mess around. We're just going to do this in black, but it would be cute in red. This is a new stamp for me. I haven't stamped this one before. This was the first stamp set I ever used. All right, the ends didn't come out great, but that's my fault. So let's just imagine that that's on that. I'll fix it in post before I send it out to somebody. That is the idea. It's a very cute little scene card. I definitely overshot how long it was going to take to make this with you, but I appreciate all of your patience and encouragement and your vote. Yeah, this is one of my favorites. I will never part with that stamp set because she was my first on the cover. All right, so there is a little better close-up of a cute little scene. I hope you enjoyed this one. I already warned you, I'll be back on Tuesday next week with a Halloween card, and then I will be off on Thursday night for Halloween. And then when we come back in November, it's full holidays ahead, and then sneak peeks, and then we do it all over again, you know? So thank you guys so much for coming to hang out. Again, thank you for hanging out with me through the whole thing. I appreciate you all so much. I will see you guys back here on Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. I hope you have a great weekend. Stay safe. And until next time, guys, happy crafting. Have a good night.